They have a belief system that they're not winners. I think it's a subconscious thing. That's a belief system, and they go, "Oh, that guy's a winner because he's got these businesses. That guy's a winner because he's young and he's got a Bugatti. That guy's a winner because he's an athlete." But the reality is, if your belief system allowed you to see value in yourself, you would. And that goes back into what are you doing to build value in yourself, whether the skills, traits, abilities, a body, the ability to communicate, sell, market. You're not building those skills and you are not valuable at that point.
Welcome to the Bedros Keuilian Show.
I'm Amrinder Cambodge. You just flew in, landed into John Wayne Airport, and here you are at headquarters. And why don't you tell us who you are and what you do?
I'm just a simple man. Grew up very blessed to sit on this chair. It's crazy how far life has gone. The reason why I say that, it's how fast it's gone.
How fast it's gone.
Okay. I'm only 32 years old. Right. And from the things that we've done in the past, just if I go back in just 5 years, screw the 5 years, even if I just go a year or even a couple months, it's crazy what we've done. Right. Yep. The reason why I would say that is I remember growing up 16, 17 years old, being at GNC, watching your videos at that store, wearing the GNC shirt, seeing a fit guy talking about business, sales, being a man, how to grow up a son, being a father, all this kind of stuff. Right. And then now I'm sitting next to you. It's like, I think this is probably going to be my favorite conversation in all the podcasts I've done. I've done a lot this year, you know, and the reason why I think it's an amount of respect that I have for you.
I appreciate that.
And for the audience that doesn't know me, I'm just a simple guy that's done crazy shit. And the way I do crazy stuff is what? Crap ton of execution.
Yep. So we're going to get into that in a minute, Amrinder. But first off, let's talk about kind of where you come from, because for our audience who's watching this on YouTube right now, you got to understand that when I talk about the American dream, when I talk about you can become anything you want to become in this country, there's a lot of pushback today because of the current political environment that, well, the American dream is dead. It was alive when you came to America, Bedros, but it's not available to us anymore. Now, through my lens, I'm almost 51, and I'm like, man, if I came to America today, I think I could achieve success, wealth even faster. So right. Since you're 32 and you were 16, 17 watching my videos on YouTube, which the math adds up because exactly 16 years ago is when I first put out my first YouTube video.
Yep.
So the math adds up. And there you were working behind the counter at a GNC. I'm guessing maybe one of your family members, was that a job or was that a family business?
It was a job.
It was a job. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so it wasn't like there was a family business yet. You had a job, you're watching my videos, and then here we are some 16 years later, you're sitting here and you're about to put on an event in a few weeks, which we'll talk about in a minute. And you got an amazing lineup of speakers, including myself and Ed Milet. But when people think that I'm too far out of reach, I think you're closer to their generation, their age. Is the American dream still within reach?
1,000%.
How so?
Back then, we didn't have the technology that we had today.
Mm-hmm.
Now think about this. Back then, TVs were big. Did you have TVs back then or no?
Yeah, we found one in the dumpster, but yeah, we had a TV.
TV's big,
giant
VHS.
tube in the back.
Now let me ask you this, Bedros. Where's the TV now?
Well, the TV's in your hand right now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All the information with ChatGPT and everything are on there. But the difference is why you and I are very successful is because why? We're curious as shit.
Yeah.
That's the difference. How come out of everyone in my city, in Manteca, California, with about a population of currently now, it's probably about 200,000 people, right? How come nobody knows about Bedros back then? Only I did.
Yeah.
Well, how was that?
Yep.
It was one YouTube search away.
Yep.
Right?
You were curious.
Curiosity.
Yep.
Till today, I'm still curious. I'm still learning. That's how you become successful, is because curiosity creates new innovations, new answers, new questions. That's how we keep growing. As an entrepreneur, if you are not curious and you come into the thing, I know it all, you're not going to get the goddamn answers. Now, there's two different things when it comes to technology. It's depending on how you use it, right? One, you can use it for developing things. Right?
Yep.
Personal development, business, learning, X, Y, Z, all the knowledge that I have, all the connections that I have two phones, personal, business. I use my business one more than my personal one. Why? All my research is on that. All my work is on my phone. Number two, and the other side of the perspective that you have is people are watching what? Dumb shit.
Yep.
TikTok.
3.5 hours a day, by the way, the average American.
Yeah.
Scrolling their life away.
So if the other thing is too, it's like, what do you idolize in life is the other thing. So I was having a conversation with one of my guys, right? And I was like, how do you know if your society is going up or down? He said, I don't know. What do you think? I was like, entertainment world.
Yeah. It's who you put up on a pedestal.
Yep. Entertainment world. So I said, what if you ever want to see who your friends are? Now, who sits on your table is very important. And I tell that all my guys that work with me, right? Reason being for that is you already know this too. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. It's big, right? The conversation that you and I had a conversation, I think last week. I was in Atlanta, Georgia, and you and I had a conversation. It was about maybe like 10, 15, 20-minute conversation. But the conversation that we had, it felt like we already knew each other.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because of vibration, we can connect on that vibration, right?
Yeah. Shared goals, shared values, shared mission.
There you go.
Yep.
So the American dream is still alive. It's shifted a little bit. I agree on that, right?
Yeah.
What it used to be, work, buy a house. Now it's shifted a little bit, right? The entry to barrier to get into the wealthy spectrum to become a millionaire is 10 times easier than it was before.
Agreed.
Now is trying to become a billionaire, which is still easier. So a lot of people say, is the American dream still alive? It is. Check this out. How come there's 21, 18 years old driving Bugattis and all they do is crypto trading and e-commerce and everything?
Right.
Think about that. It's still there. It's just what are you looking at? Why are we spending hours and hours and hours watching sports? It's the dumbest thing ever. Betting on Tom Brady if he's going to make a freaking, if he's going to throw the ball correctly.
Interesting that they'll bet on a Tom Brady or they'll bet on a sports team, but they won't bet on themselves, right?
Or on their friends.
Yeah, and I believe that's a belief system issue. They have a belief system that they're not winners. I think it's a subconscious thing. That's a belief system, and they go, "Oh, that guy's a winner because he's got these businesses. That guy's a winner because he's young and he's got a Bugatti. That guy's a winner because he's an athlete." But the reality is, if your belief system allowed you to see value in yourself, you would. And that goes back into what are you doing to build value in yourself, whether the skills, traits, abilities, a body, a physique, the ability to communicate, sell, market. You're not building those skills and you are not valuable at that point. And so let's help the audience then break through this belief system, because I can't imagine that you were popped out of the womb, factory installed with, I'm going to be a millionaire and I'm going to take my dad's entrepreneurial spirit and 10x and 100x it. So was that something that was factory installed in you, or did you start developing these traits?
For me, the biggest motivator was seeing my dad struggle. When I'm saying seeing my dad struggle is, I'm like, okay, 5, 6 year old, 7, 8 years old, right? And my dad's out. He's working. Comes home, midnight, right? I'm up just trying to spend a few minutes with him. Boom, go to sleep. Every single freaking day, right? So I'm seeing that. Number 2, my mom keeps telling me this too. Daddy's at work because why? He needs to provide. He needs to provide. He needs to provide.
Yeah.
That puts in him. And then my mom kept putting it back into my head. Look, dad has saw a lot of struggle, right? I saw a lot of struggle with dad, right? You need to do something to the point where you don't struggle. She was pushing me to go to more school, but she always has said this. I mean, if you ever want to be successful, right? You need to have these values in your system to the point where you're able to grow a business.
So really then your parents were programming you, especially it sounds like your mom was programming you early on that, hey, I saw struggle, dad saw struggle. For you to not struggle, you've got to make something of yourself.
Correct.
And that is already speaks to expectations. And so your parents had expectations of you as a byproduct. You started setting higher expectations of yourself, I imagine.
Well, I'm a big believer on this. The higher standards you keep, the better achievements you will make.
Without a doubt.
In school, we don't teach that. We teach all of the bullshit on planet Earth. But we never show our kids when they're young how to set standards. That's why, like, when my guys, they're young guys, right? They come into my organization. First thing before I hire them, what's your 5-year plan? Where do you want to see yourself in 5 years? Oh, I see myself helping you grow your company to the next. No. That's my company. That's my baby. I built this shit by myself, even with or without you. Where are you trying to be in the next 5 years? I don't know. Well, then let's do that before you start working for me. Why? Because I don't know where you're going. What's the most dangerous man on planet Earth? I'm a big believer on this, is either you're disciplined, committed, and you know exactly where you want to go.
Yep, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Now, y'all watching this, I know what you're saying right now. Well, Bedros, sounds like you had standards for yourself because your parents instilled that in you because of the struggle that you saw your parents go through. Amrinder had the same thing. Mom instilled that. Dad instilled that. Your mom and dad probably didn't instill that in you. So does that mean you're screwed? No. Does that mean you can use that as an excuse to stay a lame duck? Absolutely not. At some point, you've got to start parenting yourself. You got to start fathering yourself and start taking responsibility and setting those standards and expectations today. So as you saw this and you knew that your path was going to be, I'm guessing, entrepreneurship at some point, right?
Correct.
So you get the job at GNC, you're a young man, you're in your teens. what is your next step after that to start kind of getting into this position of, well, now you've got 13 to 15 different companies under your belt, making millions of dollars per year, and a lot of it is through e-commerce, I'm guessing. But there's a gap between that 16-year-old and this 32-year-old. What was your next step after GNC?
So let me get back to the GNC part.
Yeah.
When I'm in high school, right, I have a business class and we're supposed to go out and do an internship for about 6 months or so. So I got into fitness. Okay. So I'm taking these products, creatine, protein shake, pre-workout, all that jack.
Now, is this while you worked at GNC or?
No, beforehand.
Okay,
this is how I got introduced to working to GNC.
Yeah.
So the teacher goes, go find a job that you guys want to do. So I had multiple options. I can literally take it the easiest way is to go to my dad's and be like, Dad, I need to intern this, XYZ, yada, yada, right? And I got to do this. You just got to log in. Very easy.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, Bedros. If I'm working with my dad, would I be able to learn anything?
Well, you could learn, but probably not a lot.
Not a lot, right? Why? Because he's my dad.
Right.
Right? I'm not going to struggle.
Yeah.
Right?
And always, we as parents, we want to take care of our kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when does a human learn? From his mistakes and his struggles. We get harder. We learn, we get better that way, right? So basically at GNC, so I go to the guy's Indian, and I was like, hey bro, look, I've been taking these products and these supplements for a very long time. I'm curious, again, the word curious, right? I'm curious of why I'm taking this. Nobody taught me why I'm taking this. I'm just going on YouTube, doing my bro science and learning about whey protein isolate, concentrate, creatine monohydrate, all this kind of stuff. But I want to know what it takes it in there. Like, why am I taking this? Obviously you have all the products I want to do. And I was like, and I'll help you. You don't even have to pay me. You didn't even pay me.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay me, and I'll help you grow your business, right? And this is where the entrepreneurial stuff comes in. He hires me. He says, okay, you start on Monday. Okay, I'm there. Okay, so I'm like this. He's in the back doing something. I'm like this. Okay, protein isolate. Okay, this one says concentrate. This one says this, casein protein. Okay, pull out my phone, Google, what is this protein? Oh, it's the absorption rate. Oh, so this one's slower, this one's faster, this one this. Oh, okay, what are the proteins on there? Curiosity kicks in.
Yep.
Now I'm learning. In a year, I learned all the products to the point where if you grab the box and you didn't even show me and I knew what product it was, I can tell you to the milligram exactly what it was.
Right.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that's the entrepreneurial stuff started from there. Then number two, I got so good at sales learning from him that you can give me shit in a bag and sell that stuff.
So that guy, the owner of that place, was a good salesman.
He was good at what he did, but then from listening to him and all the other guys and then looking at more YouTube videos, learning by myself, I started loving the game of sales.
Got it.
Right? The challenge. I love challenging. Bro, I'm 17 years old selling protein shakes, and I was the number one sales guy for free too.
I love that. So I imagine now at this point, you're a young man, you're already using those products anyway, so you're a believer in the products. I'm
Correct.
guessing you're seeing results from the creatine and the protein you're taking. You're now working in a place where you can probably get that stuff at a discount because you work there. You get an employee discount. And as a young man, what do we want? We want money because we got to find a honey to take out. And so if we want money, you got to sell, and you sell, you get commission.
Okay, let me take it a step further. 1 year for free, I worked for him for free. I didn't want nothing, anything. All I wanted to do was learn. First, I wanted to learn about the products, so I did it. Then I got curious about sales. I started learning about sales, right? To the point where I only worked there for the first 3 or 4 months. His sales were, I think, about 600 a day. I took it to 1,200 a day. All I did was people from school or the gym. Hey, bro, I'm working at GNC. How would I wear my GNC shirt all the time? Why don't you come see me? I'll hook you up. And started increasing the sales.
Yep.
Then third thing I did was, all right, bro, teach me business. What do you know? Started writing down everything, started getting curious. Then a year goes by. Then he's like, all right, I'm going to put you on commission. You're selling like hot cakes. Then he buys another location. Then I'm 20 years old. Me and him, we're super close. And I'm a manager at his location at 19. So I learned a lot, started managing other people for him. And I would go to his other shop. And then we got a chance to buy a location together. Yeah. And that's where the entrepreneurial stuff started, because I started hiring people. I started doing, training, creating systems and all that jazz. That's when it really started.
Let's connect those dots for a minute, because I don't want this to have gone through one ear and out the other for our audience. You asked this guy, I'll work for you for a year, or I'll work for free for you, right? It ended up being that you worked for a year for free. And then after that, he put you on commission.
Correct.
I talk about this on my show all the time, that if you want mentorship, one of the best ways to get mentorship is to go get hired by someone
Correct.
that you respect, whose business that you like, or you might have an interest in that type of business. Now you're getting paid for mentorship. In your case, you were like, listen, I take these supplements, so I'll probably get a discount. Yeah, I'm going to work for free, but I'm going to learn skills like selling and entrepreneurship. And so there's a beautiful offer that you made this guy, because I wonder if you came in and you were like, hey, hire me, whether he would hire you or not, because you had no experience. You were a kid at the time. But the irresistible offer you made him was, I'll work for free.
Yep.
And I'll learn your products. And you proved to him that you could double sales from 600 to 1,200. And in that time, he saw so much value in you, he put you on commission. And then you fast forward, you guys ended up buying a second or third location together.
That was his third location, my first location, brand new location.
Got it. So his third location, your first location, you end up buying together. How many years after you coming in there and starting to work for free?
That was, I think, three to 3.5 years.
That's a short amount of time.
Very short amount of time.
In today's world of low attention span, people want that to happen in 3 weeks.
Correct.
But 3 years, 3.5 years is a short amount of time.
Correct. But a lot of people, they don't understand this. Okay, they think this, 20 years old, 21 years old, having a business, right? But they don't understand this. I worked there for almost about 8 to 9 months. Open, close, open, close, open, close. I'll wake up at 6 a.m., make my food, get into the shop around like 8, work there from 8 to 8 p.m., still go to the gym, promote the business there, come back home, rinse and repeat for 6 to 9 months. My biggest thing is this, what I want to tell all the young audience out there is this. Look, you have 30 years from you're born up until you're 30 years to do what? To learn. Then you have another 30 years to build and another 30 years to relax. You choose when you want to start the 30 years. The younger you start it, the faster you learn how to struggle, the more ideal you're going to become. But embrace struggle. Every single time I had something hard come in, I have this anxiety happen, I'm fired up. Ask my partner, Sanjeev. He knows how fired up I get when a challenge comes in.
So let's talk about that for a minute. Because one thing we always talk about is problem solving is a gift. If you
Correct.
can solve problems, and the faster you can solve the problems, the better you get at decision making. And so, again, was that a factory installed trait, or did you just grow up figuring out that the more problems I can solve, the better my life will be?
I gradually got into it. Who likes problems, Pedros?
Yeah, no
one,
yeah.
right? But then it gets to the point where you start solving so many problems, you're craving for more problems. But then it gets to the point, like you and I, we're at this bracket where we have people who solve problems for us, right?
Yep.
So the younger we are, when you go from a revenue standpoint from 0 to 1, which is what I'm doing in revenue standpoint in business,
Yep.
you're solving all the issues. Then it goes from 1 to 3. You might have somebody supporting you, but the higher you go in the bracket, you can be in, I don't know, some island, and you have some lawyer solving you a $20 million lawsuit for you. It doesn't matter to you.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But but what part of the spectrum do you want to be? We had an event last year in August, right? We had 300 people, business owners, just like how we're doing the one in Fountain Blue this year. There's a guy named Ryan. Good. It was a friend of someone that came to the thing. I'm in the pool. I'm just drinking. I'm just like, I was like, hey man, my Amrinder, my name's Ryan Stewman, man. What's up, bro? Stewman, my guy Stewman. So I'm like, what do you do? He's like, yada. I was like, oh, that's curious. We cut it, we hit it off, bro. Great conversation. Got a number. I come back to Cali. He goes back to Dallas. I call him. I was like, hey, bro, I need 5 minutes of your conversation. He goes, what's up? I was like, how much is it going to cost me to be with you for 30 days? He's like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm willing to pay you $200,000 to $300,000 and want to be with you 30 days everywhere you go. The gym beside your house, the gym, every single meeting. I just want to take notes. He's like, why? I'm like, you have so much knowledge that I'm probably going to learn something from you. Yep. If I spend $200,000 to $300,000, Bedros, right? And this guy is in 30 days, I'm with him. If I can just take 5 takeaways, it's going to make me $200-300 million. I know that for a fact. Bingo. And people don't understand that. Yeah. So what happens is the reason why a lot of people get hyper successful is we use the money to trade it for time.
Yep, time collapse.
And time is information as well.
Yeah, and at the level that you play at the level that we play at, when you take knowledge, like you said, 5 things, hell, take 2 things, apply it to all of your companies, and you just 10x, maybe 50x the amount of money that you spent on that information.
Yeah.
And again, which goes back to belief systems. So I think the core of this whole episode is going to be curiosity and belief systems, because if you have the belief system that I can take information and actively apply it to whatever it is that I'm doing, then you go, I see the value in paying someone $200,000 for 30 days of their time, or The other person's like, well, shit, if I pay $200,000, that might be all I have for 30 days of their time. I don't believe that I'll apply it. I don't believe that I have the work ethic. I don't believe that I'm willing to take that risk.
But
and that is where they lose it.
You already set the tone.
Exactly.
It's literally is a thin line right here. Which way do you want to look at?
Yep.
There's so much stuff that happens in my life, in your life, everybody's damn life. It's like,
Yep.
I always tell all my guys, I was like, dude, you get to just choose. Shit's gonna happen to you all the damn time. My girlfriend broke up with me. My business partner cheated. XYZ. Okay. Now on a board, put plus, minus, put a line. Okay. What is the plus part of this? And what's the negative part of this? My business partner left me. Okay. He left you. But what are some of the learning lessons that you learned that's never going to happen again?
Yep.
He was a shitty business partner. Well, then screw it. Let's find a good one.
Yep.
How do you tailor that? Let's find the right standards of the business partner you learn from. You just paid somebody to get out of your life for somebody to do something good to have.
Bingo. Guys, quick interruption to the Bedros Koulian Show. If you are into having better health and you want more energy, if you want to have a stronger immune system so you don't get sick as much, and you want to fight off inflammation in your gut and in your joints, then the new and improved Truly Wellness Shot is for you. This is the best, newest version that we've ever created. It is packed with vitamin C, vitamin D, ginger, turmeric, zinc, B12, sodium, potassium, magnesium, astragalus, and echinacea. It is there to help you get more healthy. It is there to give you more energy. It is there to give you immune support and to help fight off inflammation throughout your body so that you can go dominate your day. I want you to try this, a 30-day supply for 50% off. Just go to trulean.com, use my code BEDROS, and you will get half off. You will get free shipping. $1 of your order will go to Shriners Children's Hospital. And on top of that, you get a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. So if you don't like the product, and we have yet to have anyone return the product, just let us know. We'll give you a full refund. And if you decide it is the best thing for you, like thousands of other people have, then stay on board to the Trulian Tribe. And every month, we will send you a new order for 30-day supply for 20% off, free shipping, and $1 from every one of those orders will go towards Shriners Children's Hospital, where we're going to do a lot of good together. So here's what I want you to do. Go to trulean.com, use my name, Bedros, to get 50% off your first order of the Subscribe and Save, and build your body, build your health, build your energy as we do a lot of good together. Now back to the show. So let's shift gears here. Talk about some of the businesses that you have, especially the kind of web-based, e-commerce-based businesses, because I want to give our audience some nuggets on how they can scale their businesses in terms of offer, in terms of branding, in terms of traffic or sales.
Yeah, on the e-commerce side, I mean, we got a lot of things going on, man. We're selling all over e-commerce, Shopify, Amazon, eBay. That's how we originally started in 2018. Now we're in 15 different countries. I mean, the offers that we have, whenever you're pitching offers to people, it's more of the emotional base. You obviously know that,
Yep.
you know. And then when it comes to branding, a lot of people, when it comes to branding, you have to start from the customer base of how do you want to be felt, right? So like in our companies, we really don't have a 1-800 number, right? And then purposely, deliberately, I did that because I don't want to call a 1-800 number and having somebody in India, Philippines, or something saying, "Oh, press 1, press 2, press 3," and then okay, let me do this, let me do that. I'd rather have you call somebody in our company, like even if you do have a 1-800 number, imagine you're not pressing 1, 2, 3 and just saying, "Hi, my name is Bedros, calling from the Bedros Koulian Podcast Show. How can I help you? How can I direct you? How can I make your day better?"
Yep.
Right? Great. Here's an iMessage, right? Or an iPhone where you can even FaceTime me, call me, whatever the hell it is. So all my guys are trained that way. And that is you setting standards and you're making relationships. Branding, business is all about you making relationships. I don't think people are understanding that
Yep.
very well.
Yep.
And the reason why we've scaled so fastly is from our relationship building. There's been times, you know, when you have a great business. I love talking to top CEOs. You know when you have a great business is when you have you're chilling here, you have your organization over here doing their thing, and they're the one knocking on your door and say, "Hey man, I just had a conversation with this one business owner. We're helping them doing XYZ, yada, yada, yada. But I think we can do with this guy over here, partner up with this guy over here, and then bring our infrastructure. We can create a nice big company over here." Why aren't we doing a collaborative work? That's how we've scaled from 2018 up into 2025, doing $500 million.
All right, so let me ask you to walk us through an example like that, because I've done many deals like that. One of them being with Fuel Hunt and Trulian, right? I own Trulian. I took equity in Fuel Hunt, the apparel company, and I realized very quickly they're doing about $1,200 a day in sales. If I can plug in my network, if I can plug in the influencers that I know, and if I can plug in my traffic, we got them up to $22,000 a day in sales within about 6 months. But how do you set those relationships up, like when you're building those opportunities for yourself?
There's a big health company that we're about to start. It's called Expro Health. So one of my partners, we're already doing another business, and she goes, "Hey, Ami, look, I have this lady over here. She's a really good friend of mine in Canada. She has a pharmaceutical company. She creates one of the best pharmaceutical products you can possibly think of: TRT, HGH, you know, IVs and all kinds of stuff. I want to get in the med spa IV space." Okay, she talked about it the other day, and she said you can open up a location, XYZ. It's not too much to start. She goes, but I don't want to do one location. I want multiple locations. And the only guy that I know that can help me scale it so fast is you. You have the infrastructure, the way your mind works, and the way you have the investors and the everything. It's plug and play for me. It's easy.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, okay, let's do this. And I said this, but here's the thing though. We are friends. We have other business. Since this is a new business, we need to sit down and we need to have a declaration of business. You know what that means? You set all your standards.
Yep.
You redo your whole standards. This is what we stand for. This is what we're going to do. Yada, yada, yada. If we all agree, let's do it.
Do you do that in the form of an operating agreement?
No, completely different. This is before we even go into business, bro.
Got it.
So we might not even go to business. It's a completely different thing. My name is XYZ. My name is XYZ. This is our standard. This is what Ami believes in. This is what Bedros believes in. And this is how we're going to do things. Number one thing is what? Whenever you have a meeting, it has to be between you and I. Right?
Yep.
Not phone calls, not Zoom calls, in person. There's very important meetings that are going to have to be in person, right? Number two, both of our organization, 98% of the information can be provided to the organization. 2% needs to stay between me and Bedros. And now, this is the biggest thing. Number three, if you have a third partner, right? You cannot have a conversation between X, Y, and the Z is not there. It has to be X, Y, Z. Why, Bedros? Because the third person, if it's not involved, then that's when the friction happens.
Resentment. Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So everything has to be fair. And that meeting has to be in person.
Yep.
Always. Never on text. Text, Zoom calls, phone calls, I hate. Why? Because I want to see how the person's reacting. If I right now, you're calm. You're confident. You know, I'm reading you. I'm a very good reader.
Sure.
Right? And then so when I ask you a question, hey, Bedros, so the next quarter we're expected to do 10 million in revenue, but XYZ, how are we going to solve that? I think we can do this. I think we can do that. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. What does that tell me? You're nervous. I don't want that. So, Bedros, what's going on? You're nervous, bro. This is not you. What's going on? Just tell me. Something, family good, all that kind of stuff good. Let's solve that before we get into business.
Yep. All right. So let's say you knock that out now with this person. You knock that out. You have that verbal agreement, or at least on paper, but it's nothing formal in terms of an operating agreement. What's the next step after that to start an organization like that, so that you guys can start scaling and growing?
We plan out the 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the target goal we want to do in 5 years? XYZ. Then let's plan it per year, per quarter, and then that is written by book. And then from there, the systems are created. Marketing, systems, operations, sales. How are we going to do everything? Okay, that's on paper. Great. Now we have a person that's on my team, puts all that stuff on paper, puts it on a Word document, boom, blasts online. Why? Because if I'm not here, whatever it is, everybody in the organization needs to know.
Yeah.
Right? Then there's the CEO book. The CEO, what's the CEO's responsibility? What are the SOPs, KPIs, all that kind of stuff. Then the biggest key success ingredient, if you're doing business by yourself or if you're doing business with partners, is you have to have quarterly meetings with the whole entire team.
Yep.
Quarterly meetings.
How does scale look like in a scenario where you've got the CEO's operating manual, you've got the KPI set, you've got all the expectations set for everyone, roles and responsibilities? So in this med spa business model that you're talking about, what happens next? Are you then creating a social media account? Are we then sending people out there to go find like space to open up these things in? Like, what next?
This lab CEO took about 10 years to even make $2 million in revenue, which tells me what? CEO sucks. Because business is not perfect, Bedros. It's always evolving, right? It's always changing. But you need product revenue and profits for it to keep going. She doesn't understand that. She has a good product. She doesn't know the scalability of it. So I said, hey, why don't we acquire it? We'll put it into our thing, and I already see the bottlenecks as I don't even know the business that well. I haven't even talked to the CEO. I can tell she's a shitty CEO. I'll be the CEO of the company. We'll keep her as an equity partner in there, so because she can control this part.
Yeah.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is, on a whiteboard, I'm writing down this person's doing this person can do this person can do this. What are the missing pieces? So if we buy this company and I'll do this for this, you do this for this person will keep this because they can do this. It's like a puzzle.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Did I answer your question?
Yep. It does. And so that leads me to another thing, which is, when I think about how I've scaled many of my businesses, whether it's Fit Body Bootcamp, Truline Supplements. In fact, our number one product for Truline brand is the Everyday Wellness Shot. That product, we never even thought of that as a SKU. We created Truline in 2018, and the idea was high quality protein, greens, hydration, fish oil. All right. Oh, and multivitamins, 5 SKUs. And our main client base, customer base would be the Fit Body Bootcamp clientele, right? Worldwide. And then from there, we'd go direct to consumer. Of course, the pandemic comes in 2020. We realized everyone's talking about immune system. Everyone's talking about health. What can I do to build my immune system? And I realized there's nothing out there that's addressing that in a holistic way. Like, yeah, you can get the emergency shots, packets, you can get the airborne packets and drop it in water, but there was nothing that had everything in there, like zinc and turmeric and ginger and vitamin C and B12 and all this stuff. And so I was like, we're gonna make this thing. And when I said that to my team during the pandemic, they're like, dude, already the pandemic's throwing a curveball at us. Like, to make something right now, to add another SKU to our business, I'm like, no, this is going to be the thing that we need to make. It was a pivot that we did. And today we've got thousands of people on recurring revenue, 14-month stick rate on that one product when they buy it. I share that with you because had it not been for the pandemic and our ability to pivot and repivot again, we would not have created a product, let alone create a subscription program that has a higher stick rate than any OnlyFans account. And the beautiful thing about this is that when you are seeing opportunities, you're not afraid to pivot.
Correct.
Is what I'm hearing you say. And so let's talk about, 1, pivoting, and 2, the network. Not every business was like, hey, here's the business plan, and then we're going to execute it, and everything turned out exactly as you wanted.
Never.
How often had you had to pivot? And can you give us some examples of pivots like I gave you with the Wellness Shot?
You're gonna love the story. So we started the e-commerce brand, right? So I'm 2018. Sanjeet's a doctor.
Yeah.
He's a dentist. He quits and joins me in 2019, and then so 2020 COVID happens. Like, this is sick, bro. We're a shit ton of money, people ordering online and everything. Right towards the end, bam, I sent him $500,000 to the gentleman, right, to order more products from China.
Yeah.
So then what happens is I'm like, he's not responding to my text messages. He's not responding to my text messages. So what I used to do was, this is him. He's ordering products for China. I'll send him the money, and then he would send it to China.
Yeah.
Right? It's been 2 freaking years, no problems or anything like that, right? And then I send him the money. He goes MIA. I'm like, okay, Sanjeet, something's going on. I'm freaking the shit out. It's been a month. He hasn't responded. I think he went MIA. And then he goes, shit, dude, what do we do? I'm like, stop worrying about that. We need to do, okay, let's whiteboard moment. Let's come up with a calculation. We need to rate, somehow we need to get $2 million so we can fulfill everything we need to do. Within, I think about 30 to 45 days or something like that, we raised $2 million,
yeah,
right? And then fulfilled everything in 90 days, and we're back to normal. And then I said, well, I can't have this shit happening ever again. We cannot be dependent on China. Okay? The reason why is when Apple, I think in 2021, announced that they're going to start production of their iPhones, not so much in China and India, I knew that something big was going to happen. Mm-hmm. So I called my team from overseas and I said, hey guys, we have resources in China. We're producing product in China. Okay? It's time to pivot and use other resources in other countries. God forbid if something happens, right? I don't want any of our suppliers to be more than 40% production, right?
Right.
In one country or even one supplier.
Because you don't want all your eggs in one basket.
Correct.
For the very obvious thing that can go wrong.
Correct. So I learned that from the pivoting point.
Yeah.
Going to the $500,000 thing was like, okay, the pivoting point from that was, why am I sending this guy $500K when I should be getting the invoice from the supplier and I'm paying directly?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It made no sense, but it was just at the moment, you're young, you're dumb, bro.
Yeah.
You're making a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
You know?
When in reality, you could have gotten the product and probably had a net 30, net 60, net 90. In other words, had the product and then paid 60, 30, 90 days later.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a pivoting moment.
But see, that's the thing. That didn't dissuade you from doing business. Because I don't know whether you lost the 500,000 or you were able to regain it. But
we regained it.
You regained it, right? But for a while, it was pretty much gone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you were like, hey, let's go to the market board, figure out how to raise capital and fulfill the product or service that we need.
Correct. So a lot of people, what I love telling the stories is a lot of people, when they see something like that and you're not at the level that we're at right now, right? Out right now, 500K ain't nothing, dude. You know, that's like monthly fuel for our jet. right?
Yep.
But back then, when you're at like hitting that threshold, that 500 a day, what do? You get anxiety. So I tell all my guys nowadays, the businesses that I'm coaching, the people I'm sitting down with, I'm like, dude, okay, relax. If it's gone, it's okay, right? As long as you're alive, you're breathing, we can figure this shit out, okay? Now just put it on the board. Give me one problem, 500K. Give me 3 solutions. Now pick the one solution that you want
Yep.
and why. Right? And let's all debate. Get your whole organization in the room and let's all debate. Because one time in your thing, somebody is going to say something like, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yep.
So there's multiple times in the business you have to pivot. In GNC, I still remember, I should have pivoted. There's multiple signs that I should have pivoted. I remember in GNC charges a franchisee fee. You're an
Yep.
expert at this.
Yep.
You know this.
Yep.
They charge you a franchisee fee and they charge, we're going to do marketing, this, that, all that kind of stuff, right? But as a CEO, me running that shop as a franchisor or a franchisee, I should have marketed the crap out of my own location, not just depended on them.
Instead of waiting on the franchisor
correct
headquarters to
I
do it
should
for you.
have pivoted there,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm not seeing results. Then when we did start marketing for a little bit, but then GNC comes back to me and saying you can't do that. You can't do your outside marketing. Well, then
Oh,
we're out
really?
correct.
Wow, I would never do that to my franchisees. I tell my franchisees, market any way you want while we continue to market nationally for you as well.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
Right. So then from there, I stopped. I should have pivoted, found a different way. I should have got some influencer or done something. I didn't. I stopped. Why? Because the people that I was surrounding myself with, my friends back then, the advice that I was getting was they were in business owners.
Yeah.
I remember one time when I had my sports nutrition brand that I started years ago too. I was 23 years old, and I put it on Amazon. Right, they wanted an invoice for like 190 days, 180 days, and I was way beyond that. Right, so they said I got a letter saying that we need an invoice so we can get approved XYZ to sell it. So I show it to my friend. He's an older dude, 42 years old. You know, I learned a lot about fitness. Right, and I show it to him, and I'm like, dude, this is what they're saying. What do you think? You can't do anything, bro. You can't do anything. I'm like, what about if I just bought a couple more products and just got that approved, and let's just start selling it at least? No, you can't do that. They said they're not going to approve your line, right? So I stopped doing it, right? Again, show me your friend, show your future. But then what happened was when I started this business, he would give me advice on some of the e-commerce stuff that I was doing too with my investors and all that kind of stuff, right? But then what changed was pivoting more in my life. The biggest pivoting moment in my life was when I stopped talking to him and stopped getting advice from him and started getting advice from the business owner who were doing this much more than anybody else.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you brought that up, man, because think about this. You said it. He was someone who was older than you. He was 42. And you gained a lot of great wisdom from him on building muscle.
Correct.
Getting jacked.
Correct.
Which does not translate into building a business.
Exactly.
And so oftentimes, whether it's your girlfriend, your wife, your mom and dad, we had one person who was applying to become a franchisee said, I got to go talk to my uncle because he's a CPA, a certified public accountant. I said, does he work for himself? This is when I was still doing the sales for our franchise. Now we got Max, Trevor, and the whole team up there. And I said, does he have his own CPA firm? He said, no, he works for someone. I go, so you're going to ask someone who's an employee whether you becoming a entrepreneur is a good idea, and specifically the vehicle being Fit Body Bootcamp, the franchise. He said, yeah. I go, with all due respect, he probably knows the tax codes. He has no skills and experience being an entrepreneur. He goes, you know what, you have a good point, but I'm going to go ask him anyway. We never heard from him again because that uncle, who's a CPA, probably feels starting a business is high risk. While he can crunch numbers, he's horrible at the idea of taking risks and putting all the burden on his shoulders and making that leap of faith.
Yep.
And so it makes sense that we didn't hear from him. And if you're taking advice from your aunt, from your sister, from your girlfriend, from your mom and dad who haven't been in those trenches, you simply can't. That was a great lesson to pass along. And because we love them, because we respect them, because they're in our lives, and maybe they've helped us in one category of life, like building muscle, or maybe they've guided us through something, but it doesn't translate. It simply doesn't.
Piggybacking off that story, I remember, so my dad owns businesses, okay?
Yep.
I have the GNCs. I've never used one advice my dad gave me. He had no real advice. His thing of business is what? Just work your ass off and milk the shit out of your employees.
Yep.
Right? That's not, I already knew it. That's not the way to do it.
Yeah, that's the generation he comes from.
You know, that's the generation he comes from. And then, so basically, when I started helping him on, so when GNCs were dying for me, right? My passion for GNCs dying, the revenue's dropping, you know, and then I'm over here trying to figure out, what do I do the rest of my life? What do I do? Where do I go? What's my next mission? Where do I move? Right? I'm like, okay, let me help out my dad. Let me help out my dad with the gas stations. Maybe this is it. I go in. Okay. So now I'm doing everything. I'm cleaning and everything. One of the biggest thing I learned from my dad was, and I love this, what my dad did. Back then I hated it, but I learned the lesson now. He would make me clean the floors. He would make me sweep the rocks.
Yep.
You know, and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I'm like your son, but you're telling me to do this. I should be back there counting the money and all kind of stuff. But it taught me values of how he's got there.
Yeah.
So even till today, I'm still doing that. Okay. Number 2 was there's a time in life where every father wants their son to take over their business. I'm pretty sure you do.
My dad literally wanted me to take over his alteration business, his little tailor shop, and it was the most heartbreaking thing for him when I denied that and went on to take my own path.
Yeah. So same thing with me. Is I'm helping my dad with the gas stations. Okay, he wants me to take over his business, right? But there's the dynamics of a father, some dynamics when there's 2 kings in there trying to run a kingdom.
Right, doesn't work.
That happens.
Yeah.
All the time. I have this generational guy who's a pen and paper type of a guy that wants to do everything pen and paper. You have this young, hungry guy who wants to do more ambition and uses technology, platforms, and everything, trying to get shit done faster.
Yeah.
It's just not going to work out.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
So me trying to get advice from my dad was like, I couldn't get any advice from him. The only advice I really got from him was, one, just work your ass off.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Because it worked for him.
Correct.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to tell the audience is, like you said, you might love your family and everything, but you have to look at it. Is that person where you want to be in the next 5 years?
Yeah.
So whenever I want to get advice, it's like, okay, should I get advice from Bedros? Successful, has a life I want, has a great body, multi-million dollars, and multi-companies. Hell yes. Yep. Should I get advice from this guy who works at H&R Block, just doing 9-to-5 W-2s, right? When I have a business doing, let's just say $5 million, makes 0 sense.
Probably not. That was a beautiful lesson there. So let's take this home. You've got an event coming up. Is it 3 days or 2 days long?
It's technically 2 days of session.
Okay, so it's August, 8th and 9th?
8th and 9th, 7th is a sick-ass welcome reception party.
Got it. Now, I'll be there on August 8th because then I fly out that night speaking in Atlanta at the Fit Body Bootcamp World Conference. But tell us about the event and kind of what the speakers are going to bring and how my audience can sign up and register for it.
So the reason why we started getting into a lot of events is we've been to so many events, right? There's some good ones, and a lot of them where they're like upsell. Upsell. My biggest thing
pitch fests.
Right? Yeah. My biggest thing is not upsell. My biggest thing is like, we want to talk to you. We want to do real life things. I want to know what you guys are struggling for, because I know for a fact I have a very long run to go in business. Okay, if I learn from your guys' everyone's mistakes, and there's some mistake that I'm not going to make. Right. So that's why I want to have 2,000 people in the room who have legit businesses. Right? Not some crypto guy, not a guy who's just selling homes like a real estate broker or anything like that. If I'm talking about people doing at least minimum of $5 million in revenue, that have at least 3 to 5 employees with a legit business, SOP, KPIs, so I can learn how are you running some of these systems, right? Mm-hmm. Those are kind of the things we want to do. Then I want to show like, here's a blue book that we create that works for every single company that I have, right? From there, we have case studies. From there, we have mics. And any question you guys have, I want to learn from you. You guys learn from me, and then just bring in as much value as possible.
Yeah.
Then every speaker like yourself is there. It's me and Bedros sitting there having a conversation like we just had, and I'll have a set of questions of not motivational stuff, legit business questions,
in the trenches, yeah,
actual questions, like hardcore shit, real case studies. What would Bedros do at this situation? What would he do this? How did he build Fit Body Bootcamp? How did he set up the franchisee? How do you know if this is going to make sense? How do you know this is going to, how do you get into these marketplaces? You know, what did you do here? Right? For 1 hour, right? And then I want to open up for 30 minutes. 30 to 40, whatever time we have left, is open up for the audience to ask Bedros real questions. No pitch fest from any audience. And then we have the Sharks, Kevin Harrington and Robert Haverchuk coming.
Yep.
And then I'm going to be sitting with them. I have a few questions with them, but I don't want to waste so much time with myself and them. I want to open up it to the audience, and it's a segment called In the Tank with the Sharks. So imagine yourself going into the Shark Tank show, right? And being fully prepared. I want you to start thinking right now. Whoever wants to come to the conference, start thinking right now. What questions would you ask Robert to take your evaluation from $5 million to 15 to 30, 40 million dollars? And what kind of equity play would you do? Royalty. Like, ask some real questions. So if you do have a VC, PE firm, you want to go IPO, you want to be a unicorn, or you want to go to the Shark Tank show, you are fully prepared and you get the damn deal.
So this event is for real entrepreneurs, not just people who are
no
entrepreneurs.
motivation. No motivation.
Yeah, and that's what I like, man, because look, motivation is fleeting. You're going to get hyped up if you go to, and there's motivational events everywhere. Quite honestly, you can find YouTube videos on motivation. You get hyped up on YouTube. You don't have to fucking travel anywhere. So the event takes place in Miami at the Fountain Blue Hotel, which is a great place. There's a funny story about that I'll have to tell another time because we're running out of time. But myself, Joel Marion, and Craig Ballantyne got nuts at the Fountain Blue Hotel when Jay-Z and Beyonce were having a concert there, and we decided that we're going to buy the whole upstairs, the VIP lounge, and just treat it like it's our own backyard. So with that said, the event is really the 8th and 9th, but there's a big reception the evening of the 7th?
Correct.
Of August?
Correct.
Right? And that's coming right up. And how can people register for this event, and how can people find you on social media?
The site is xproevents.com. And again, don't come if you're not going to participate. Don't come if you're looking for motivation. If you're looking for real tactical stuff and you want to be involved, ask questions, network like crazy. My guys, we're gonna force you to network. Like we create an special app, and there will be rooms of networking. So whatever industry you're in, you will be automatically added in there, so you guys can have conversations, and we'll have separate groups throughout the whole hotel, forcing you guys to talk, and so you guys can do things together. Because what I want to do is literally create communities. Like, so if it's a fitness community, Bedros, this guy, go. Oh, wow. That's a crazy conversation. That's what I want to do.
That's awesome, man.
And then you guys can follow me on Instagram at Amrinder, AMRINDERX. Again, the letter X, Pro.
Well, brother, I appreciate you coming out. You dropped a lot of knowledge here. And if we had a couple more hours, I'm sure the knowledge would continue to drop. If you all want to see me out there in beautiful Miami, August 8th and 9th at his event, be sure to sign up. We're going to add everything here to the title tag on and the description here on this YouTube video. Thank you so much for making time and flying out, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.